Our keynote speaker for this section, the afternoon session, the third section of the Career Summit, Adora Ikwuemesi.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Good morning.
Please unmute yourself, please.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here this afternoon. Is it still, no, is it morning still? No?
It's still morning.
It's still almost, morning. Okay, still morning. So thank you very much for the invitation and a great job you're doing at La Roche. Thank you so much for this invitation. So good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. And thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you. Right. You know, when I looked at the topic that we had for the session, and I just asked myself, you know, what would be the best way to approach this subject? You know, we're talking about upskilling, we're talking about maximizing productivity. And, you know, the first thing that came to my mind was, you know what? This is all about making sure that we're relevant in the future. And, you know, what I hope to do really is just give everybody that opportunity and that insight from my own career journey. And of course, you know, from what I know is going on in the industry. So I think, you know, usually I like to talk about my own experiences because I want to believe that the audience here are, you know, people who are hoping to make the best out of their own careers. I think the first thing I want you to all know is that career struggles are real for everyone. It's not a new thing to, you know, if you're not where you feel you should be, trust me, you're not alone. But what I hope for you to understand is that, you know what, if you have a plan, if you are diligent towards working towards that plan, then maybe somehow it will all come full circle for you. So I don't want to be, I mean, I'm going to obviously share some slides, but more importantly, I think, you know, sharing like practical stories and, you know, from my own life, I think those will obviously do more justice than this. You know, sometimes when I come to these sessions and I'm listening to the, you know, baby profiles being read out, I take myself back to when I first started my career. It wasn't very clear to me what I wanted to do. In fact, I was confused at so many points in my life. You know, when I was in secondary school, I wanted to be a lawyer. Everyone thought I was going to be a lawyer because I spoke, you know, I like to write. And then at some point I wanted to be an accountant. At some point I wanted to be a biochemist. I just, you know, at different points, it just kept on changing, right? But you know, the truth is that I didn't really have any counsel. So by the time I left university, by the time I finished my A-levels, I ended up studying economics. Now, why did I study economics? I was very good at economics in school. And to be honest, I was confused. I really didn't, at that point, I was just like, you know what, I'm just tired. You know, like all this, today I want to study this, tomorrow I want to study that. You know what, I'm just tired. Let me just study economics since I like it as a subject. So I studied economics. Now, I didn't enjoy studying economics. I mean, I don't think I tell a lot of people this. Because I actually loved economics as a subject, but you know what, in university, I can't lie to you, I actually didn't enjoy it. And on my last day of university, please don't tell anyone, I actually tore all my economic books. I tore all my books. So the funny thing is that you would see every single book from the rest of my career, but you wouldn't see any economic books in my library because as soon as I finished my last exam, I tore all my books. Now, why? I had such a terrible time studying it when I was at school. I didn't really have a great, would I say I didn't have mentorship? And I had a course tutor because everybody was assigned to a course tutor. And when I was having challenges in my first year, because, and not for any reason, maybe because I wasn't serious enough, I was just playing around a lot in first year. So basically when I was having challenges and I went to speak to my course tutor, Well, he basically had told me, he advised me to drop out of uni. And honestly, I don't know, maybe the tutor didn't really understand that some of us, maybe he didn't know anything about our families and the kind of families we come from, and in Nigeria, our culture. And so I didn't really have anyone, you know, really supporting me then. So I really struggled throughout. Although my third year was not as bad, because by my third year, the electives I took in economics were subjects that I actually had an interest in. But my second year, because of no guidance and everything, so basically I didn't really have a great experience. Now, when I left uni, I promised myself that, you know what, because of how I struggled, you know, at uni, that I would choose a subject, you know, like for my master's degree, I would make sure I choose a subject I really love. So I was saying, you know what, my master's degree, this is going to be an opportunity to go back to my, who I really am, you know, go back and study what I really want to, what I really, and you know what, I wasn't even clear what I really wanted to, but I love to write. So I decided okay, I think I'll study media or something in communications, because I did media studies in A levels. So there I was searching for a school to do my master's in media and communications. And one day, me and some friends went to a get together. And at the get together, they were having, a group of people were having a discussion about how someone's girlfriend was making a lot of money. At the time, anyway, we were 21, and they told us somebody who was just about 5 years older was making about 70,000 pounds at the time. And she was in an IT profession. Well, that was how there and then, me and my friend decided that we were going to study IT. So again, without any direction, without any mentorship, that was how the trajectory of my career actually changed. Now, why am I telling you this? If you don't have a clear vision, you will end up anywhere and nowhere. So now the reason why I'm saying this is that it's not because what I studied when I studied IT was such a bad thing. No, actually, it's one of the best decisions I made. But my point is, I just went with the flow. You see, I went to a party, and that was how the decision of studying, communications changed to IT, just because people were making a lot of money. So I went off and I studied IT at a master's degree level. And before I actually left uni, I had a job. So that was the interesting thing. IT was really hot at the time. And it's funny that this is 20 something years later, about at least 25 years later, about 24 years later, and IT is still hot. So I studied IT. In a year I was done. I got a job in IT, and I worked for about 4 years in software design. Now, did it meet my career objectives? At the time, yes, because I wanted to earn a lot of money. So before I left uni, I got a job. I was earning well. I met my career goals, which were to earn, I'd set a goal, financial goal I wanted to earn by the time I was 25. I hit that goal at 23. And, by the time I was 26, I was tired. Okay, I was tired. Now, when I was 26, I made the decision. I quit my job. I resigned, and I sojourned to Nigeria. Everybody thought I was crazy. In fact, some of my friends thought, Adora, you're mad. How could you leave the UK and go to Nigeria? Who do you know there? Where will you start from? But I just felt I had nothing to lose, and I wasn't happy in my job. I had been working for 4 years as a software designer. I had no joy. I had money, but I wasn't, I wasn't happy. So when I came to Nigeria, I did a lot of soul searching. I researched some books that would help me take inventory of who I was. I took inventory, found out what I was good at. I really sat, I was at home for like 6 months, just inventorying on myself, doing some petty business, doing some volunteer work, practicing speaking, reading subjects that I was interested in. And when I finally finished with myself, I realized that my top 3 skills were speaking, writing, and advising. And with that, I people kept on telling me to try consulting firms, and somehow I ended up getting a job at Philips Consulting. So now, this was still early in my career. But what happened when I joined Philips Consulting, remember all the background I had was actually IT. So I joined Philips and I was immediately, I got into the strategy team. Remember, everybody knows me as an HR professional, but that is not how I started my career. So at Philips Consulting, I was part of the strategy team. They liked my analytical background and my, because, IT allows you to think that way. So I joined the strategy team. Now at Philips, I knew that I wanted to work with people, but, that wasn't my background at the time. And that was when I got, I was so interested and intrigued in people. I didn't know anything like HR. There was nothing like, as far as I don't even know whether the subject of HR was called HR at the time, but I didn't even know there was a subject as HR. In terms of consulting, we had a team that used to consult on human capital, but it wasn't called HR. Now, because I was interested in people, I started researching on courses. I found a course in psychology. So when I had my holiday, I had 4 weeks holiday a year, I booked my leave and I went to England on a 4-week course, summer school at, they have a 4-week, well then anyway, I don't know about now. It was called a diploma in psychology, and you could do it as part of a summer school program. It was crashed. So I studied this psychology. It was very, very, I used to go to school every day, studied it. It was 4 weeks, crashed. And when I finished, I came back to Nigeria. And then my MD asked me, you've been gone for quite a while. I haven't seen you. I said, yes. They said you went on leave. I said, I wish it was leave. Oh. They said, what did you do? I said, I went to study this diploma in psychology. And he was like, what? He was shocked because, this is someone he knew, he hired because of her IT background. She's in the strategy team. He was like, psychology? Come to my office, And so I saw him in his office maybe the next day. And, he was like, why? And he was like, you know what? So he's going to rope me into a new team. There was a new team. They were starting consulting on behavior and individuals and teams. And he was going to rope me in as one of the founding members of those teams. And we're going to go on some extensive training, in South Africa for, on team building and those type of solutions. So in fact, that was my entry into HR. After that program, when I came back, I joined the human capital team. And that was how I started working on HR projects. And that's how I became an HR consultant. And the rest of my career, just from there, my next role was head of human capital at InterSwitch. After that was head of HR transformation at Transcorp. And, then after, when I left Transcorp, I founded Kendall Consulting, which, obviously a lot of people know that that's what I do now. Now, why have I taken you through this trajectory? We're talking about upskilling, we're talking about maximizing productivity, but a lot of people think that, that things just happen overnight. Now, how do we upskill, and what does upskilling mean? So at this point now, having shared my story, I just want to look at a few slides, a few pointers. I'm going to share my screen and, take us through just a few, pointers I want to leave everyone with. So I'm going to share what upskilling means. I just want to be sure that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay. Please tell me you can see my screen. Okay. Right.
Yes,
please do give me a thumbs up. Yeah, give me a thumbs up. So I just want to take us through upskilling, why we need to upskill, and make references to the examples I just gave you in my career. Look at the digital skills in demand right now, and how we should develop an upskilling strategy, and of course, more importantly, developing the right skills for a productive career. So first of all, why upskill in the first place? The only way we can future-proof our careers, there's this thing I used to do. In fact, what am I saying I used to do? I still do it. I go and check jobs in the UK, the US. I see what the requirements for roles that I believe are, obviously, if I had to be in those roles, considering my experience and age, I check the skills and I check them against what I know and what I currently have as inventory as a person to make sure that wherever I am, you know, I'm still relevant. Now, the funny thing is I've always done this throughout my career, even though obviously I've in the last, I would say, I don't know how many years I've been here now. Would I say in the last 19 years I've been in Nigeria? But I keep on ensuring that wherever I find myself in this world, I would never be in a situation where I would go to any country and have to downgrade my position for any reason. Okay. Now, even more so now with the pandemic, the globalization has always been a thing, but more so now. We're in a global economy right now. We've always been, but more so now. Anyone can work anywhere. You can work remotely for any company in the world. And people are doing it today. I was interviewing someone, you know, the other day who was working for Amazon in Czech Republic, but the person, you know, got the job here. I was speaking to somebody about a month ago who works for a global team, but lives in Nigeria. But you know, the whole team is all over the world. Now, right now with remote work, you can get work from any country. In fact, I'm even thinking that right now, I mean, people are thinking of visas and all that. Visas are not an issue anymore because you can work for any team, you know, remotely right now. So that process of acquiring new and relevant competencies, you know, that is what we mean by upskilling. The process of actually acquiring those new competencies, relevant competencies that are required today and in the near future. That is what we mean by upskilling. Now, what does upskilling entail? Of course, if learning, continuous learning, we must keep learning new skills. You know, we say this all the time, but people feel that, you know, like, okay, a lot of times, especially when I speak to young people, and it's an open secret, and people say, what makes you stand out in your career? You know, what do you advise? And I keep saying the same thing. Learn new skills. Learn new skills, invest in your training and development. But when you say it, I don't know, maybe some people think because Adora runs a training company, maybe she's trying to get me to invest. No. The truth is that the difference between the A players and the B players and the C players is how much they invest in their training. Next week I'm attending a training program. In 2-3 weeks time, I'm going to enroll on a 6-month program, and I know how much it's setting me back. This time last year, I was in the UK and I attended two to three training programs. Before then, in September, I was, you know, at another 5-day training program. Now, I don't know whether people don't believe, especially our Nigerian audience. I don't know where we get this mentality that, you know, we go online, we Google it, we get a template and it's done. No, you have to keep investing in yourself. Training is an investment. People look for, you know, every time I see people looking for the, you know, what to invest in. Oh, maybe I start a small recharge card business. Maybe I start a, get a farm or start a little agricultural business. The best investment you can make is the one you make in yourself. People say multiple streams of income. Multiple streams of income come from your knowledge. You cannot give what you do not have. And the worst thing you can do is go and invest in a business you know nothing about. You don't make those kind of investments. They're very risky. You will lose your money. The best thing you can do is invest in your own knowledge, because, you know, that investment is going to earn you so much more. I don't know whose statement it is that the investment in knowledge, it pays the best interest. People are always looking for places to invest, to gain interest from. But why look around when you can invest in your own knowledge? You know, every time yes, you know, you can buy property, you can get a mortgage, you can buy land, but the biggest investment you can make is actually in yourself. Now, it involves a cultural shift. First of all, if you are still not, you know, you still have doubts that, you know, about the investment, that knowledge is an investment or training is an investment, then I'm sorry, you're always going to struggle. You're always going to struggle because, you know, you never want to spend money on on training programs. You would never want to spend money on courses. You know, you would always think, nah, this is too much. But there are people who are paying for this. And the reason why they stand out and they're different from you is because of what, see, you know, I tell people are not, a lot of free things will not get you anywhere. Trust me, if you're going to spend your time going on the internet, you know, for months and months and months and months, time is money. And you had an alternative where somebody was going to just give you that information there and then. I was talking to someone before we started this program. I was chatting with someone and I told them that the course I attended in February last year was what kept my firm alive for 2020. We know that most businesses, they were destroyed last year. And we saw big businesses falling. Yeah, we saw big people lose their jobs. We saw the high fall. But I would tell the program I attended in February last year, honestly, and I just said to myself, gosh, what if I didn't go for that program? You know, it helped so much and it paid itself tenfold. And I remember this has happened to me another time. There was a time I was having two minds. You know, there was a training course I just saw. I was about to come back to, you know, Nigeria, maybe like 5-6 years ago. There was a program I just saw last minute. And I was like, do I change my ticket? You know, because I was due to come back to Nigeria. And it was a 2-day program and it was on a weekend. Hey, I said, do I change my ticket? I just said, you know what? Something just told me, you know what? Just change your ticket. Attend this 2-day program. Honestly, what I learned in that 2-day program, that, first of all, I don't know how it works, but you know, there's this thing psychologically. Like, you know, once you now know something, I don't know, maybe the world or the universe starts attracting opportunities to you. As soon as I came back to Nigeria, someone called me and said, hey, does your firm offer this service? I was like, what? Is this magic? You know, I was like, yes. Imagine I just attended the course. I was like, yes. And basically, it was like, please send us a proposal to train like, I don't know, about 200 and something people. And, you know, for that year, and like 3-4 years later, that was like the top selling course that we were selling. I was like, something that if I did not attend the training, you know, the opportunities, I wouldn't even be seeing them in the market. So for me, first of all, that mindset shift, if you're thinking of a way to distinguish yourself, please don't think too much. Invest in yourself. Have that mindset to know that training and investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Make it a habit. Have a training budget every year and just use that to train yourself. Don't go looking for, I'm sorry to say, anything else to invest in. Don't go and invest in anybody's business. Have that money aside. Look for training courses that can help you and make sure you invest in them. Now, it's always also important, you know, when we talk about change management, because obviously this is a change, this is a mental shift for all of us, you know. Now, if this is something you're not used to doing, please just mourn your old self, okay? Change, we resist change because the only reason why we resist change is because we cannot see the benefits of the change, or maybe the benefits of the change to what, maybe in our minds, they don't outweigh the cost. I am telling you, and I'm sure that anybody here who is speaking, you know, will tell you the same thing. We cannot, you want to know the secrets, right? There is no secrets, it's open. This is what we all do. We all invest in our knowledge. If you see anybody, you're admiring them, speak to them, ask them how much they spend on themselves in training. I cannot tell, I mean, I spend a lot on my own training and development. I'm sure I saw some other speakers, I'm sure you can ask Mr. Dayo, he will tell you that I'm sure he has a very big budget of his. You can ask any of the speakers here, I am sure they will tell you that they have a big budget. So if you want to know, there's no secret, it's open. You share this knowledge openly, but people somehow, I don't know whether they don't believe you. You know, every time I speak to young people, the first thing they always tell me is that they don't have money for training. And I don't understand it because I see them online, you know, you're there with your data. They don't feel it's worth it. But yet I see people spending money on hair on Instagram. I see them buying clothes. I see them buying shoes, but they don't think it's worth investing. That's the truth. Because when I tell them, you know, invest in yourself, they just don't think it's worth it. So if you're looking for there's no magic to it. This is what it is. It's very important because you have diverse skills when you upskill. I mean, you know so much more. So even if we're talking about survival instincts, you know so much more. One thing I would say, especially in this day and age, digital skills, you can't run away from digital skills. And digital skills are not necessarily like IT, hardcore programming. They're anything you can do online. And these days, like for all businesses now, a lot of businesses, even my type of business, prior to 2020, we had not sold one online course. Like when I mean one, for 4 years, we had e-learning on our strategy. For 4 years, from 2016, we had not sold one e-learning course until April 2020. We now have about 30. Now, in fact, sometimes they say necessity is the mother of invention. If anyone would have told me that in 2 weeks, we would have e-learning, something we had been struggling to do for 4 years, I'd have told them, nah, it's a joke. But that's what happened. Now, what does this tell you? Digital is real. You must learn how to do things online. It's not just for individuals, but for businesses. Because of the way things are now, I mean, look at us here. This, conference, I'm not sure, Ayo, but is this the first, maybe last year you might probably have had that virtual, but maybe the first one was a physical one, right? But for many of us, the conferences and the webinars we had last year, especially the conferences, they were the first virtual ones. So we must invest in skills to overcome our digital skills gap. It obviously is very important that we enhance our competencies, our knowledge, our skills, very, very, very key. And, people talk, there's huge unemployment now. However, if we have these skills, why would we be unemployed? I always tell people, yes, there's a gap in the market, but, once you have skills, the worst case is that you hire yourself. Now, I do understand that we're not all entrepreneurial. Yes. I don't believe in, tell everybody go and open a business. No, that's not the way I believe that some people work better, obviously as, as employees, and that's what they even want, it's okay. But when you have skills, you're going to be valuable. So when people are unemployed, it wouldn't be hard for you to find employment because you can show value. The opportunities abound. I mean, when you have skills are value. I tell people money follows skills because skills are an asset. And that's, you see, money has it, you can trace money. It follows assets. You understand? Money follows assets and skills are assets. Money follows skills. And that's why we say learn before you earn, because some people want to earn, but they don't want to learn. So it's something that, once you have skills, it gives you a competitive advantage. Now, okay, if you don't know that you don't know, obviously you cannot even decide, you can't even start having the skills that you don't even know you don't have. So what I would do if I was anyone, and even that's what I currently do now, is I always look at what are the skill sets that are relevant now. And those skill sets, I must always ask, what is the gap between what I have and the skill sets required for the future? And even now, we all have training needs, both short-term and long-term needs. There's a program I'm attending next week. And trust me, it's not really a day-to-day job. My assistant is actually, it's part of her own job, but it's to do with online sales. It's a new area to me. I just told her, book both of us. You understand? And I'm sure she was just like thinking, I should book I said, book both. Let's both attend the course. Even if I'm not doing it at an operational level, I want to learn how to do it as well. You understand? I want to gain that knowledge because it's very important now. Because prior to now, our sales were physical. I mean, I hardly go to clients. I can't even remember the last client I went to see. You understand? I've been to one meeting this year. But I mean, prior to them, but now we're getting so many things are being done online. Companies are just requesting for proposals, without meetings, and deals are being closed online. And now, obviously, a lot of businesses that were able to survive, if you were a B2B business in 2020, one of the only ways you could have pivoted is if you switched to B2C. And that was something that my business was able to, do, because B2B was difficult last year. Lots of businesses, even if they were not struggling financially, they were confused. Everyone wasn't sure how to manage the pandemic. And my business, mainly being a consulting and training business, unfortunately, a lot of our kinds of business were hit. Okay, so, but guess what? While companies were not training, individuals were training themselves because they had more time on their hands. And they had more times, they were locked down, they had more time on their hand, and then e-learning courses are much cheaper to deliver. So it was easier to deliver them, at more friendly prices. So imagine where one door closes, another one open. But if you're not prepared for the opportunity, when the opportunity comes, you won't be able to take advantage of it. So know what your knowledge and skills gap are. And trust me, without even thinking twice, please just go think about digital skills. Okay, so whether it's from, even if it's customer service or customer relationship, think about digital, taking care of customers online through online platforms. If it's sales, think digital. If it's products, think digital products as well. Once you've you know what your skill gap is, you've identified your training needs, both short and long term, map out your upskilling plan. Now, what do I mean? You have to be deliberate. You have to know exactly what you're going to do in terms of the training programs or the courses or a whole set of programs you're going to attend, because that's what you need to close your skills gap. And see, these things are fancy until you actually learn and implement them. Okay, how do you implement? You back it up with action. You must back it up with action. A lot of people, your action is not, okay. I mean, it could be obviously go online, take a few courses, but you have to be more deliberate. You can't spend one whole year trying to learn things online. There are lots of programs on it. Invest and get that skill quickly so that you'll be ready. So once you have your strategy in place, please just implement. One of the worst things you can do is try to learn. You're just going online and you're just learning without a goal in sight. No, you need to be deliberate. You need to know what exactly you want to learn, right? Another mistake people make is they make it a one-off activity, okay? I mean, of course, everyone knows that HR, me, I eat, sleep, breathe, HR courses, and, I love to develop HR professionals. But, sometimes people come from our first course, our most basic introductory course, fundamentals of HR. And I don't know what they expect to happen. They think that magic will happen after attending one course. Some people even ask me, after attending the fundamentals of HR, can I get a job? And it's funny because I'm like, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is think that training is a one-off activity. Training is not a one-off activity. It's a continuous thing. You can't do one training program and think that everything will change. Yes, if you have a gap and it involves just learning a very quick thing, like maybe you want to learn how to make soap and they teach you soap making, but no, I'm sorry. One course cannot make you an HR guru, an HR manager overnight. No, there's a lot of experience to it. There's a technical aspect to it, but you need to, keep developing yourself. Even one certification, because some people, and I see this mistake a lot of HR professionals make, once they take the certification exam, as far as they're concerned, that's it, I've passed the exam. That's not enough. Okay, but at least they feel good that they have the certificate. Today, even this morning, someone asked me, Adora, what certificate can I take in HR? It's like, people they just care about the certificates. They're like, what certificate? I said, you know what? The rate at which things are going now, we've made the certification seem almost worthless, because if it's all over the place and the unemployment rate is still as high, what is it telling us? That we have certificates, but these people still don't have skills. So we need to avoid making training a one-off activity. We need to avoid learning without implementing. If you go and learn, you may be frustrated because you learned, but you're not implementing what you learned. So you're still at the same level. If you go and learn, pay for an expensive training program, and at the end of the day, you don't use it, of course, you're going to feel like you wasted your money, right? So one of the most important things is to have, map out your plan for upskilling. So it's not just attending the course, but how you're going to implement it. One of the things I did in, my career, with everything I learned, I use it. Like, if I can't find a job, my dear, I will create a job. I don't know. Me personally, I always say I'm a very creative person. A lot of things where I learn, I create programs for it. I create products out of them. If I go on a training course, when I come back, you will hear about Kendall will release a new product. because that's the way my mind works. I'm not, so it's either we have a new product to showcase to our clients. So you use the learning. You don't just, take, if you're going to learn how to, digital skills, you must use it. And so you can't wait for a job. Even if you don't have a job, start practicing it on your own. It's something you should just start doing. Start using it. Before I got a job in consulting, I was practicing, even though I had a knowledge of PowerPoint, I was practicing presentation slides. I was practicing, presentation skills. I was practicing the things I would be doing before the job came, so that when the opportunity arises, it wouldn't find you wanting. You'll be ready, right? And then learning without evaluating. Why is it important that you evaluate? Now, if you don't evaluate, you can't tell how well you're going against your plan. So it's very important that you evaluate the effectiveness of what you've invested in. How effective was it? You must evaluate at the end. Like I attended this program and, I attended this training program, and this is what I wanted to get out of it. So you have to keep evaluating yourself. If you're not getting to the point you want to get out, then you may need to upskill more, or you're just not hitting the right targets. You need to always evaluate so that you know what to do next. So I talked quite a bit about digital skills, and I know that this is nothing new to anyone. I think I shared this sometime maybe late last year, but these are the top 10 digital skills identified by Microsoft. There was a study done on LinkedIn. I believe Microsoft owns LinkedIn now. And these were the top 10 in no particular order. So please forget the fact that we have software developer at the bottom. But I think only about 3 or 4 are technical, like in terms of IT technical core, like software development, IT support. Yeah. But look at the rest of them: sales, project management, customer service, digital marketing, data analysis, financial analysis, graphics. Just look at these skills. Now, there's so many. If you have these digital skills, then you're definitely well equipped for the future. How do we position ourselves? If you're thinking of upskilling, now it doesn't mean these are skills, remember, these are not professions. So you can still, it doesn't mean you shouldn't pursue your profession, but please, whatever profession you are, please get these skills. If you're like me and you're in HR, these skills will help you. I mean, project management skills, definitely. Even if you want to even go technical, like software development, it will help you. That's my background. Customer service specialist, I would say, let me just use the example of HR. Definitely data analysis. That's what HR metrics analytics is all about. Financial analysis will definitely help you. It's funny because I mean, now, because of a lot of, if you're a service business, like my business, you would need you need graphic skills, definitely, because we do a lot of things on social media now. So you definitely need somebody handling graphics. You definitely need somebody online handling customer service, because when we use social media, we have to engage with customers on social media. That means people send messages online and we need to respond online. We need to respond on Instagram. We need to respond on, any social media platform that we engage with our clients on, we need to respond. So we need skills in this area. And these may not have been skills that we focused on before, but now, because of the digital nature of what we're doing now, these are very, very essential. So look at these top 10 digital skills. That's what I would love you to look at. Now, what amazes me, like I said at the very beginning, is I can't believe that it's almost like deja vu. It's almost like, how can 20-something years later, we're still talking digital skills. So it just shows you that these digital skills, imagine when I went to university, that it was digital skills. I'm just imagining, because that's what I studied. So imagine I studied when did I study IT? 1997? That's a long time. So some of you calculate my age quickly. That's when I studied IT. And then it was like, it's a new thing. We must do it. And, we were all racing towards this thing called, some of you might not know, Y2K, the year 2000. And it was like, there was all this digital. There was some kind of big bang that was going to happen in Y2K. So imagine then, digital skills. And you can see it even now. But you know what amazes me more is that we should be more equipped. We should be more digitally savvy now. And what I don't like seeing is young people who are not well equipped digitally, because we don't have any excuse, especially like I would say Generation Z. You know, where we call Generation Z the digital natives. These people were born with mobile phones in your hand. As in, when they came out of their mom's tummy, they were with cell phones, not like us who saw those big, really big phones. No, these people were born with, with cell phones in their hands. So there's no excuse when you're young to not have solid digital skills. You understand? Solid. And it's not about skills to go online and be chatting or fighting on social media. No, it's the ability to do graphics, the ability to analyze data, use Excel extensively. Excel skills are great because that's like the basis of, and if you're going to go into data analysis or financial analysis, before you go into what they call some tools now like Power BI, which is business intelligence, some people will tell you master Excel. But I'm amazed sometimes I meet young people and they're struggling. They're not very conversant with PowerPoint, Excel. If I'm sorry, but when people say I can use Word, I'm like, come on. Even I hardly use Word, hardly. So I'm like, and when I say hardly, even from 20 years ago, I'm a PowerPoint person. Maybe it's because of the nature of my work. I write my proposals in PowerPoint because I'm always ready to present. I don't want to write anything in Word, and then when you say come and do a presentation, I'm thinking of how to convert it. No, I'm ready with my PowerPoint. So you ask me to present anything, you're going to get a PowerPoint document. If you ask me for my profile, you're going to get a PowerPoint. You're not going to get a Word document. In fact, the only thing I think I have in Word is probably my CV. And right now, I think it needs to be in PowerPoint. So, Oh, so you see what Dr. Dial said. He said he's been spending £1,000 on himself yearly for personal and professional development for the past 15 years. And and I'm sure that it's not even, I know, Dr. Dial, I'm sure you're being modest about that, because I don't know, some people say I don't have the money. Whatever money you have, you should be using it. So if you don't have that, if you earn 40,000, you should have a budget of 10,000. It's the best investment you can make in yourself. And if you don't do it, the people who you are looking at and admiring, that is what they're doing. You don't have to look for their secrets. So I'm like, every time people ask, it just baffles me, but this is it. Well, this is what we do. Do it. You understand? I don't believe in, I'm someone who shares freely. If you follow me on my HR groups, I'm always dishing out. I'm happy. There's enough room for all of us. There is enough room. And I'm telling you, you're saying, what do you want to do? Some people say, oh, Adora, I want to do what? I said, can you do what I do? Me, I like reading, You understand? Someone was asking me, they wanted to gift me some books. I said, he named one author. I said, I have all the books. I love reading. I was like, can you read? You understand? I love attending training. It's my pastime. I love it. Can you do it? So, those are the kind of things, that we think about. Those are the kind of things that we do. That's normal for us. So if we look at this other slide by the World Economic Forum, it talks about the top 10 skills for 2025. So we looked at the LinkedIn, but look, this is top 10 for 2025. It's still similar. Analytical thinking as analysis. You see, it says active learning and strategies, problem solving, critical thinking. It's still the same things. It's still the same things. Okay, but we have like leadership and social. Of course, you cannot take away leadership, but you can see technology. Technology is there. Resilience, trust. But what I say is that I'm a problem solving. I just believe in let's just solve the problem. Let's not be thinking of the constraints. Nigeria is tough. We know, all of us know, if we start complaining about Nigeria from today to tomorrow, we will never finish. However, what can we do? I believe that whenever there are problems, that means there are plenty of opportunities. Okay. If things are not working, that means that there are opportunities to solve problems, and we can be relevant if we solve the problems for those people who that problem is pinching. Okay, you just have to look around you and look at the magnitude of everybody's headache. There's so much headache in Nigeria, and I believe that anywhere there's headache, there's an opportunity to create a solution. So all you need to do is look at a set of people, what's their headache, and then try and solve it. And of course, if their headache is enough for them to pay for it, then you're fine. You will always be someone of value. Okay. So I believe that when we talk about productivity, one of the first things that comes to my mind is being effective and being efficient, right? Being effective is being successful in that thing, like achieving your goal. You want to maximize your career. You know, you want to have a fulfilling career. That's effectiveness, that you actually met your career goals, right? But you also want to do it efficiently, which is with respect to time. You don't want to do it by the time you're 60, by the time you're 70. You understand? You want to do it as quickly and as possible. So for me, what makes you productive is not just, the fact that you can do it eventually. No, productivity for me has the characteristics of being both effective and efficient. I want to do it in record time. Now, doing it in record time means learning from those who are ahead of me. Of course, so if people can share their fast track secrets with me, that's doing it in record time. If I can set a plan, stick to my plan, that's, being efficient as well. That's being productive. And for me, I believe that, career productivity has to do with achieving it at the right time. I don't want the situation where, I don't know about you, but like people say, oh, young people now, they want everything fast, 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 fast. My dear, I don't have a problem with, fast, just learn the right things and have a plan. That to me is the most important thing. Have a plan and have a deliberate plan, have an intentional plan, be strategic, choose wisely. So don't just choose any career, choose a career that first will be fulfilling, but more importantly, that will be relevant. Because if at the end of the day, it's not relevant to what the issues and the concerns are now, you may struggle with, getting a job or anything. However, that said, I'm not a fan of just doing something to make money. I mean, I did that when I was 21. I wouldn't do that again. But I believe in what I would call short-term stopgaps. I believe in, like, you can do something for a while because it helps you get to where you eventually want to go. I wouldn't like kill off, I mean, when you're young, making money is important, because if you don't make it early, then you're going to work for a much longer time. So obviously, I don't think it's such a bad idea to focus on money when you're younger. But as you get older, and I think this is for everyone, you definitely want more out of life. You want to be living purposefully. You want to live a life of meaning. You want to live a life of purpose. I won't do any work for just money. I tell people that whether I'm making money or not, some people on their phones, I'm sure my name, Adora HR, whether I was making a dime or not, anyone that knows, that I'll be doing this HR, right? Because that is what I have dedicated myself to do. That's what I've dedicated my life to do. I love developing HR professionals. I love the subject of HR. So that even though, last week or so, I was saying, I just remembered that in my long-term plans, I'm supposed to retire this year, so to speak. So you look at my face very well. Yes, I'm not that old, but that was my plan. And I was looking at what is retirement for me. I'm going to continue. So some of the people that are thinking, I don't know where you're going to. I ain't going nowhere. What I just mean is I'm not going to be doing the kind of work that I'm not hustling. I'm done with that. I'm going to do meaningful, purposeful work that I will do regardless. Because there's no such thing as retire. What is retire? That's retiring for me. Okay, no more hustle. And that's what I mean. So I think I've made some key points, but I'll just leave us on the note of, please, let's develop a lifelong learning mindset. I believe in lifelong learning. The minute you stop learning, you're dead. Some people die at 20. I heard this. Yes, I think, I don't know who I heard this from about 2 weeks ago, that some people are dead at 20, but they are buried at 90. And you know what that means? Once you stop learning, you're dead. Yeah? You may just be alive and you get buried and they say, oh, you died at, but you really died at 20. And if you don't have that learning mindset, you're dead already. So let's develop a lifelong learning mindset. Have that mindset of embracing new things. Be open to change. I love to learn. I like to not know, so that I feel excited, whenever I pick up something new, a new skill. It's very, very important to leave the old ways. Don't think you know it all. Embrace new ways. Accept that there are better ways of doing things than you actually knew. Of course, you can't live alone with people. One thing that will maximize your career, I tell people, relationships. Anyone who has good relationships has the key to life, I'm telling you. I can't emphasize what relationships have done for me in this life. And I know that the best things that I've achieved in my life have been through people. Even if you're like in Nigeria, lots of people are, very religious, very Christians. I tell people, I don't know, I haven't seen an angel in, like the kinds that they say in the Bible that came down. No, but God works through people. God works through other human beings. So if anything remarkable, is going to happen in your life, God is not, I'm sorry, I don't know whether Angel Gabriel is still on duty. I don't know whether Angel Michael has left the gates, but I know that
visiting
a human being, God works through people, and that is how he's going to do it for you, not by himself. So if you don't keep relationships, and that's something I notice in Nigeria, we don't do very well. We're very transactional. You don't think long term. You just want to do that one hit. You're not thinking of continuous long term. You don't leave organizations well. You fight before you go. You understand. But if you keep on burning bridges, then which bridge will you have? You should be able to go back. That's why it's called a bridge, so that you can go back. But if you've burnt a bridge, you can't go back. And what good is this life? Even in business, we know that it's 5 times harder to acquire a new customer than to continue business with an existing customer. Most of the times when I teach people about business and even starting their business, when they say, Adora, how do I get, the first thing I say is go back to your previous employer. That's usually one of the best people who will give you work or contract. But by the time you burn bridges, you don't have any relationship. Of course, you're not going to be able to go back to your previous employer because, you forgot, you resigned without notice, you left, you didn't even, then you've burned that bridge. And if you keep on burning bridges, because you're not keeping to your word, no integrity, then you have nothing. Even people that borrow, that's how people that borrow are always looking for new people. There's sometimes you get this odd message, sometimes once or twice. I've gotten an odd message from someone asking me to lend them money. And, I'm like shocked. I'm like, because I'm not on that level with the person. So I'm like thinking, So most of the time when I get those kind of messages, because obviously, there's also scams. So we're not even sure, maybe someone is taking their phone. I would like maybe find a way or to call or get through to them to be sure that they're really the ones, because I'm shocked. Like, me and you, we don't have that kind of, like maybe we're just acquaintances. Sorry, maybe it's just like we just met. You're asking me for money.
Wow. I think we have a bit of network issue there. All right. I don't know if it's from my end, but can you all hear me, please? Okay. Can we all hear me, please? I think it should be a wrap up now. I think she's trying to wrap up. If you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know in the chat room so I don't know if it is my own end that has a network issues here. Okay, awesome. I think she's done. Yeah, fantastic, great. All right, great. I think she's done a bit of justice to the subject. I've been taking notes like crazy here, and our story is just so powerful. A lot of people will resonate with that story. I think that's one of the one of the things that a lot of people struggle with today. I have struggled with that too for many years. in terms of finding clarity exactly what I want to do. All right. Some people, they know exactly what they want to do, maybe when they are still in university, still in primary school, still in the secondary school. But a lot of people still struggle with, okay, what should I be doing? All right. Even when you get your first job, you discover that your first 2, 3, 4, 5 years in your career or in your job, you're just not finding connection with yourself and the job. All right. So I think a lot of people have those kind of struggle. If you have those kind of struggle right now, you can put that on the chat room. I think for me, I believe that was deliverance for some people, all right? Deliverance for some people. If that resonates with you, if a story of finding clarity resonates with you, please put that on the chat room so we'll know. But I think that's so powerful. You can put the emojis in the room. Please put the emojis in the chat room. She's done pretty justice to that topic. I was just taking lots of notes, but I'll just quickly run through some of the things, some of the quick learnings. I know a lot of us took notes too, but she emphasized on several things apart from that story. Her story was very phenomenal, like I said, and all about finding clarity, finding clarity. Some people think that money is everything, but for some other people, it's doing what they are called to do that is everything. So I don't want to use the word purpose, so it doesn't sound that kind of cliche, but the most important thing is doing something you love, because that's what is going to be sustainable over time. Okay, so, and she has posted a lot of things quickly. I just want to wrap up that, go through that quickly in 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll give opportunities for us to ask questions if she's still is going to still be, if she's going to still be online. But she talked about investing in yourself. She actually did emphasize on investing in yourself. Have a training budget. I've seen a lot of people struggle through that. All right, and this, I think when she comes back, I'm probably going to ask her that question. A lot of people who work for other people have this kind of mindset that, I think the organization should train me now. Actually, I'm doing their work on this kind of a thing, that kind of mindset. I think I want her to also talk more about that. But right now, she's talked about the fact that you need to have training budget, upskill, learn new skills. You want to have, there's something she said, which I want to emphasize. I said, money follows skills and assets, and skills are assets. So money follows skills. You're looking for money, right? Upskill. Have those skills coming. Close your skills gap. Develop a lifelong learning mindset, right? Develop a lifelong learning mindset. I should close with 5, 6 points. And it said, I'll be willing to embrace new things. I think you're preaching that right now, right? The COVID-19 pandemic has taken us through that right now, that you need to be thinking differently. Every organization is thinking differently. Every human being is thinking differently. I don't know, maybe the angels are also thinking differently right now. Right? But I think it's very, very critical for us to be willing to embrace new ways of doing things. Be emotionally intelligent, and then network. She was talking about network before the thing went up. And then the last thing she would have talked about was develop a global mindset. And what she said at the beginning, that right now we are in a global world, all right? I knew a particular friend who was one of my training sections last year. He'd be trying to close a deal, getting an investor, all right, to invest in his IT startup for many years. And it was part of my training, one of my trainings that I did with one of our coaches. And then in that training, somehow I connected them to one of my speaker for that training, who was a CEO of a multinational, right, in Nigeria. And I was able to connect them, but there was one thing that happened after that training. What he told me was they were able to close a deal, all right, with an investor in Japan from Nigeria during the period of the pandemic. So that pushed to us right now that we are really, really in a global world. You can actually pivot yourself and work from home in multiple countries, not only in Nigeria. So we have to develop that growth mindset to be able to upscale and maximize our productivity in our careers. All right. So I think I'm able to go through that successfully about that. So yeah. Doc, were you trying to say something, sir?
Stella, I have a question.
So I don't know if, okay, I don't know if she's still online. I don't know if Adora, sorry, Ikwuemesi, sorry, I'm not doing that name. I don't know if you're online right now, so you can take questions quickly from our audience. So if you have questions, can you put it on the chat room and I'll just read that out. But if she's online, let me just quickly check if she's online. All right, she can take those questions. So go ahead, sir. Shoot, sir.
All right, Stella, let's have your question. You can unmute yourself. Stella, let's have your question.
Okay, someone is taking a question. Stella wants to take a question. Okay, Stella's hand is up. Okay, Stella Aniawu is up. She wants to take a
Can you unmute me? Okay, sorry.
Unmute yourself.
Yes, I've unmuted myself. I'm so sorry. I didn't even know when I was kicked out. I was just rambling. Okay, Stella says you should unmute her.
Can you hear me now? Yes, I said you were kicked out. Welcome back, man. I said you were kicked out.
I didn't know when I was kicked
just when
out.
you were
Sorry.
wrapping up. Yeah. So I said that the last thing we wanted to talk about was develop a global mindset.
Yes.
And I already took that out, and I said that on your behalf.
Thank you very much.
We were also trying to her to say that you wrap up because we need to get into the other part of the section today. And I also did a summary of exactly the key points that you've mentioned. So we are right now in questions and answer or interactive session. And there's a Stella that has a hand up. Stella has a hand up. So maybe you should take that question and then you can answer.
Let me check the chat. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Stella, go ahead.
Hi, Adora. Happy birthday once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just a quick one. I thank you for the session. My question goes like this: if someone has worked for some time, and let me just give an example. I've been in the private sector for some time, startups. And you talked about there's a particular time or age you are expected to make money. Let me use that word.
Yeah.
So what do you advise someone who has not really made that money, but is still looking out to make the money? But I have my long-term plans, which already somehow I'm delving into them. But the question there is the money. What will you advise such a person looking at the age and what we have now, talking about the technology, digital age? What will you advise?
Well, for me, like, it depends. We talk about efficiency and effectiveness. If you don't have time, like, maybe in your situation, maybe if I found myself, let's say I'm in my 50s or in my late 40s and I didn't quite move up quickly on the career ladder, I would use my greatest assets I had at that point to get me to where I want to be. Now, what do I mean? You see, I don't know what you've been doing for the last 20 years, but you must have been gathering something.
Yes.
You must have been gathering something. And there's this thing about, when you're standing on a mountain, you can't see what is under you. We all have value. Okay. But when you're standing on it, you can't see it. Working for 20 years, you must have gathered some value. And that's your unique value proposition. Use it. A lot of people don't know their value. And that's the biggest mistake. When I talk to people transiting careers, people put their hands in too many pies, and because they try to do this, they try to do that, nothing gains. They don't focus on one thing enough, right? And by the time they've done bit of it, then there really isn't a lot. So I would say focus on what is the value you've created around the years. It will give you an edge over even people who are younger. You must have gathered something, even if it's managing people, even if it's, there must be something. Maybe if you gave me more practical example, I'd have been able to give you have value, use it, because you don't have any more time to waste. So go straight into your core competence and, use that. I want to just give you one example because it might apply to other people. When people change careers, there's something they fail to see. It's called transferable skills. That's the greatest thing you can identify. Every career, transferable skills are skills that can be used across careers or across jobs, okay? Examples of them are writing skills, speaking skills. It's all these soft skills, planning, organizing, analyzing. They are used by many careers. And you can use it, you can move from career to job and keep using them. Because of transferable skills, I was able to move from IT to consulting. Because of transferable skills, I was able to move from consulting to core HR, because of transferable skills, I was able to move into entrepreneurship. But what a lot of people do that doesn't allow them to be flexible is because they don't understand these transferable skills. So they don't use them. Sometimes I speak to people who are experienced, maybe 15 years experience, and they want to transition. And I ask them, okay, so what skills do you have? They say nothing. Because they feel that, oh, if I want to move from, let's say, customer service to HR, that I have to start again. You don't have to start again. But you need to be very clear on your transferable skills so that you can take everything transferable, and then the only thing you have to learn to transition into HR might be the technical HR area. But there's a lot of transferable skills you already have. For example, you want to be HR consultant, you would obviously write a lot of reports, you might do presentations, you might have to manage a team. If you've already been doing that, you already have a lot of the skills. But a lot of people struggle in identifying their transferable skills, and then they go and they start. You don't even need to take a pay cut. I've never had to take a pay cut. You understand? But if you're not able to articulate those transferable skills to your potential employer or to your next career, it will devalue you. It will appear like you don't have much value.